God.
What up, man? We gonna be in here. I'm gonna be in there.
What, you want to do it here? That's a little fire.
You can do that.
Whatever you want.
That's up, Carl. How you, man? Think about this. If you go to the source or you look at double X, if you get a double XL or you get 5 mics, that shit.
Oh, I did make it right because I did give you the double XL with B. I did make it right. Okay, see, I did. You're right. That was big though.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that, you know, it's hard. It's hard to beat the mics. The mics are the mics.
Yeah.
But I think when we did that with you and we did with the clips, it kind of elevated our shit to be respected as ratings too. Because it's hard to beat the mics. The mics was the standard.
The mics was the standard.
Yeah.
But still,
Yeah.
the double XL meant the whole.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when you gave that to us.
Yeah, shout out Bonsu.
He
He really was repping
yeah,
this shit.
Bonsu, definitely.
No, Ye would terrorize us. He would come to the office and play the shit. And I'm playing this nigga out. I'm gonna tell you my first meeting with comedy. I mean, my first meeting with you love this. So he's been using other niggas to get in the building, like Daquan, Jermaine Hall, all the King niggas, right?
Yeah.
You know, Elliott, Wyan, I don't talk to nobody. I'm in the back. I'm just, you know, I'm causing my chaos, right? Yeah. So I'm like, so this nigga comes in and he's like, he already got his shit. He gonna play me the shit. Everybody got a crazy story and play music. So he's playing the shit, and I'm just like, I'm not some industry shit. I'm like, Jesus Walk, you'll never clear that. That'll be your first single. Jesus Walk, you can't make that a first single. But Lauryn Hill, you're not gonna clear that sample. Like this Most Def shit, Freeway is dope. It's a mixtape record. And like I have like the proofs of the magazine. Like I'm correcting the I'm working and correcting the magazine, and I'm listening to basically the skeleton of what will become College Dropout, which is a fucking classic album. And I'm playing this nigga. I mean, I'm foul for this because I'm just like focused on my shit. I'm just like, I don't believe he's gonna. So then here's why I play myself, because then I remember I started looking at the billboards like, oh shit, this Slow Jams record blew up. This Drew the Wire shit broke up. So I called an emergency meeting. I was like, yo, you telling me Kanye West is about to be a star, a hip hop star? The producer, he gonna be a star? And none of y'all saw it? Like we was in a meeting. I was so mad. So I hit up Monopoly. And then John comes to my office and he's like, Elliott, it's too late. He's doing the Source cover with Kim. He's got it. They got the fangs and shit. I was like, we can't stop this?
Yo, but niggas can predict it.
We didn't know.
No, look, I'm victim too, to be honest, because Ye was trying to give me beats back. Like, cause like in '97,
you had no idea.
I had no idea. And no idea was like, so his drums wasn't.
They weren't there yet.
They weren't there yet. So
that was his weakness. His ear was the ear and the loops and the set, but he didn't have the drums yet.
The drums weren't there. And if them drums inside.
That bottom. We need that. It's hip hop.
If they ain't had that, it didn't hit me right here. So I couldn't like, I was like, yay. And then eventually I was like, yay, come on, bro.
Save me.
Save me, brother. People were writing me off, please. Yeah.
The drums are sounding good now, brother.
Bro, them drums is right. And if they ain't, we gonna get the drums tight and we go.
No, but I love that shit. I love the stories now. I look back at it when I didn't see it, I was wrong. Like I remember Nelly shit. None of us saw Nelly. And Nelly literally, like, remember the old school thing where y'all would turn the album in early, we would get the advanced cassettes and shit. Everybody had Nelly's album, but nobody was listening to it. You know what I'm saying? Because it was just like, who's St. Louis? And Hot Here started blowing up. Country Grammar started blowing up. It was the first album, sorry. Country Grammar. Hot shit, Country Grammar. But nobody listened to the other songs. And meanwhile, he had EI, he had all these other hits on the shit. He had 2 or 3 other slappers on that joint, and nobody would listen to it. Same thing. I remember he came out the same week as Lil' Kim. And you know, with the East Coast bias shit, it was like Lil' Kim's going to win again. You know what I'm saying? And then Nelly came in and killed the shit.
Nelly,
and I had to call, I was like, yo, I'll go to St. Louis tomorrow. I fucked up. I didn't see it. But we put that nigga in the cover the next month.
That's real though. But it's understandable. Y'all, East Coast, y'all like, man, we ain't, you know. It's like a lot to break y'all bias at that time.
Worse, right?
But I can't, but
you don't know what you went through,
but you can't be mad at it because, you know, when y'all started y'all started the whole thing. So it's like, y'all standard gonna be like, and New York just already is like, New York, we the New York.
Yeah, got the attitude already.
Yeah.
It's like Shy.
That's it. Exactly. We definitely feel like we
What you did it for? I went to high school in Chicago.
You did?
We did it for us.
Good things. What school you go?
I went to Goodward East in the West Suburbs, and I went to Kennedy King for college.
Oh, for real?
So my senior year, B dropped, and I was like, oh yeah. I know everybody now.
Yo, what's dope was that was like me and Ye, so in Chicago, like you know.
No, and at the time too, like it was just the perfect timing.
Yeah.
When you look back at it.
Oh, for sure.
Even when y'all did when you did the food shit on Chappelle, it just had a different energy. It was like, oh shit, this is exactly what should happen right now. Like it should be that. Like it wasn't, and it didn't feel like you know.
It was forced.
It felt pure. Yeah. You know.
Nah, he was I mean, you know, like I said, I was coming off of like a low, like people was Electric Circus. They was like, what the hell are you doing with that?
Well, I'm gonna sum it up. You know my favorite thing about you? Like this is why I love this album. I feel like there's the competitive comment, and then you also then do your other art shit. You'll make a record with not necessarily being competitive to the field. Exactly. You just have a musical direction you want to go with. Yeah. You're a pure artist, but I love the competitive comment. Like even with this record, it's like I could tell Pete lit that fire in you.
Yeah, for sure, for them beats, it was like, and just being around that hip hop, like just being around records and somebody digging. Yeah. And then also hearing MCs, man, like niggas be sending me, they'll send me like a J. Cole freestyle, like, you know, I mean this is before the Kendrick battle and I'm sparked, but even just the fact that my homies reacted to I did a couple rhymes on like LA Leakers or something.
Oh, you said that freestyle got more light than the record. You're like, I got an album out, and on my bar because they want to hear you rap. They want to hear you rap.
But so like you said, the competitive comment, but you summed it up, and I never thought about it that way, but it is.
Because you always dip in and out, though. No, because I said that, because I think I said something, somebody got mad at me because I said, when you had to dust up with Drake, you went another way after that. You wasn't necessarily being as competitive as you was at that time. And then, but I'm saying you always did that. That's when you did Electric Circus, we didn't understand it at first. Yeah, it's just like,
but I mean, that's part of,
that's your growth.
That's my growth. That's my growth. It's like, I would get bored if I just was doing the same.
I don't think you could. I don't think you could.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard for artists to even exist for a lengthy career doing the same thing. Like if you just continuously, even if you just giving bar, like two dudes that I'm like, yo, these niggas be growing with their styles. And it's Kanye, like sounds on their albums, and Kendrick. Yeah. Like them albums, like Good Kid is not like Pimp a Butterfly, it's not like Damn, it's not, you know, them shit. And Ye's, all his joints, College Dropout, you can feel the evolution. Then he'll go do 808s. Yeah. And then go do a gospel. Let's do this.
But isn't it great though, like that we have now hip hop can grow, that we got y'all could be this many albums in, and it's like we don't have that. We used to always have that thing of like so and so gets to a certain age, he fell off. Bro, I feel the culture's over. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it's over for you. It's like now it really shows that you can still be nice. You can still I can still do a great interview. You can still make a great record and kick a dope verse and. He can make a dope beat. It's like, wait, why do you think we finally unlocked that? I feel like hip hop always had that thing of like, you can't grow old in it.
I think we didn't have any examples. That's just one. Sometimes you don't see it. Yeah. Like you don't know that you could do it. Yeah. Then some of the people that we looked at, it was a lot of people that we looked at that are great, that didn't keep evolving and delivering new stuff, like the fresher sounds. But then you started getting artists like we just talked about it, or even like what Jay did with 444. That's one of his best albums to me. Like like that's showing like some maturity and like evolution. And I feel like we didn't know that, man. We could go and like shit. We can go do Electric Circus. Maybe a lot of people don't love that. But eventually they might grow into it, and even if they don't, it's still part of your journey. Yeah. And you can, if you
would have got to that next step without that.
Exactly.
You know what I thought was interesting? No one says it. Like 444 went against Kendrick Damn in the Grammys, right? And they did the classic thing, like they gave Jay like the you're the man, dinner before the big ceremony, Saturday. You're an icon. Thank you for sitting front row and giving us the ratings. And then he got swept. He didn't win nothing. And everything went to Kendrick. But you think about it, to me, Kendrick, though, was inspired by 444, and look at the direction he went after that. So he beat that album in the Grammys, but then Mr. Morale to me is very much inspired by, I could go there with it. I could tell my story.
Yeah, my story.
You know, and that's such a situation. So it's ironic that, like, he still was inspiring.
Yeah, for sure. I know that. I mean, that album 444 was like, you know, to me it's like a monumental piece to be that deep in your career, and for Jay-Z to go into those real vulnerable places. That and as you said, like maybe Kendrick, you know, that
might have been inspired
he might have been inspired by that. Now I always, you know, well, you know me, I go to my vulnerable places no matter what. Like that's just part of me as an artist, man. It's like I don't care.
No, you did vulnerable before it was cool.
Yeah, and it's like I ain't had no choice.
What was it,
like,
the crochet and all that?
I mean, yo, the crochet and just me doing like.
We did one of those, like one of the ones we did double XL. You was in the full, like, you was doing it. I gotta find that one. You was going in.
You can go ahead over. Go ahead, you can go ahead over, Elliott. I ain't tripping. See, like the thing is,
you always had thick skin, man.
Look, that's what it's like. Yeah. Yo, at the end of the day, I grew up around niggas that, man, they talk, they don't give you that, and they do it with, they love you, but they still don't give you that. So I had to be like, well, this is who I am. Yeah. Even during that time, my closest of friends, my cousin, God bless his soul, was like, man, you out there with it. But I'm like, it's me right now. And I think, man, that's one of the things you learn as a human being. Like, man, I got to be true to who I am at this time. Like, I can't be, because that, to me, that's what makes for like some of the best artists. Like when Marvin Gaye did What's Going On, you know, Barry Gordy was like, they ain't want that out.
I think Alice said it like a couple minutes away. I'll check again.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
Keep
know,
going, I'm sorry.
yeah, but they ain't want that album. Or, you know, like for me, like when a Miles Davis go out and I mean, the Miles Davis jazz dudes do what they want really a lot, but go do an album like with Bitches Brew or something, you know, to just take it out there. I feel like, man, that's like them being true. The one thing I learned early as a kid, and I mean, I was influenced, as you know, by friends as a teenager. Of course, but it's to be myself, and it's okay to do that. And if your friends laugh at you, fuck it, just let you know. So when the industry laughed at me with the crochet, I'm a Chicago nigga. I'm like, I'm good, bro. This is who I am.
No, but isn't it crazy though? Like, all respect. I mean, I'm sure there were brothers from Chicago that rapped before you, but to me, you are the pioneer of hip hop in Chicago. You're not Melly Mel some shit. Like you always feel like you're you're a young boy. But it was like, for what you did for that city and bring light to it. It's like I don't think people really understand what it was at that time. Like,
that was, man, it was hard trying to get heard from Chicago, to be honest. At that time, and I got to give it up for Twister, and it was like, you know, different cats there, like a dude named D.A. Smart that was doing stuff, but man, us getting out there with this Can I Borrow a Dollar, the first album, and no, it didn't like come out, and it wasn't ready to die, it wasn't Illmatic, but it still got us our first step, and it was.
Also, your type of music, you're more so in the vein of more of the East Coast traditional sound of hip hop, and you're competing with that landscape, right? They're judging you against OC's album or AZ's album or whoever else, you know what I'm saying, at the time. They're judging you off that
for sure
paradigm.
Because that's what, I mean, I was listening to East Coast. I mean, of course, I'm heavily influenced with Rakim, KRS, Big Daddy Kane, and those, and then Ups and Nas and Big and them. But I'm saying, I also listened to NWA a lot and Farside, and I loved Cube. Like I used to study like Cube, and also, I mean, I listened to all that. I was listening to Compton's Most Wanted, but I leaned lyrically towards more of like some of these guys like KRS, because they was just doing these different styles, and there was a lot of you know, knowledge and stuff that I didn't even know about in those raps. So getting accepted. I mean, who didn't want to get accepted by the East Coast? I just saw somewhere Drake 3000 was like, you know, he was talking about why he said that South got something to say.
Yeah, you getting booed. And
It's like, but they, you know, New York is the mecca. You're going to want to be respected by the place that created the culture. And y'all have so many, like, y'all had so many artists coming from here that we admire and inspired by. So, you be like, man, I remember doing a show in right outside of, well, it was actually outside of Philly, but it was in New Jersey. I was opening up for KRS on my first album, and It was at this place called Mahorn's. Rick Mahorn used to play basketball. He had a club. Anyway, I'm opening up, thinking, I'm like, man, I'm about to rock this shit. And I'm starting off.
And you want to build with KRS-One?
I want to build with KRS, but then these niggas throwing pennies at me. But
wow.
Before I even really get out any words, they throwing pennies. And I naturally want to fight and do something.
Shot Town ready.
I'm like, man, I ain't gonna get up out of here like this gonna be a tough one. But I mean, eventually they stop. But the point is, like, you like
it's a hazing kind of,
It's a hazing. It's a process, and it was getting Chicago to be heard. Twista did some things, but getting Chicago to be heard, it was like we had to keep knocking at that door, bro. So we like kick it down. I think, and honestly, Resurrection album, I used to love it, was one of the first songs where I remember New York cats, like that was the days where you would get quotes from people, like when you doing your promo, like and Biggie was like, Biggie gave me a good quote, like, yo, I wish Common was from Brooklyn. And something like that, So that was part of our promo.
Yeah, of course.
So it was getting that stamp, and then one of the shorties in Chicago just told me, he was like, man, I mean, it wasn't a battle, so I ain't gonna say it was a battle, but he was like, man, I remember you was rhyming, this was 94 when Nas just came. Nas brought you on stage and you rhymed with him on stage, and it wasn't a battle. And he was like, man, you hung with him, and I was like, yo, that's when they started being like, okay, coming like this, he up there with Nas. I mean, he rhyming with Nas and ain't getting bodied. Then I was doing all the work, but it wasn't getting those results. I was like, I gotta keep working this, and that meant like continuing to go out and doing shows, going to do promo,
going
but
to the
then
conventions
going
and
to
shit.
conventions.
I feel like I saw you at the convention shit.
Oh man, all that Gavin, like when they used to have a new music seminar, Gavin, but that. Then also getting into remixes, like one of the things that
when Large Pro gave you that.
Large Pro gave
me that Resurrection.
That was like, yo, he gave me 2 beats, man.
Yeah,
he gave me 2
God,
beats.
it was 2 of them.
Yo, shout
Both
out.
was evil as fuck. It was incredible.
I needed that, like that was like raw hip hop as Extra P. Extra P is the essence of hip hop, bro. So when he gave me that was another one of them. Each thing was like a step in the ladder, you know. That was one, like working with the Beat Nuts, and then eventually doing that song with De La Soul, The Business, which was like, oh, it was another step, because I was getting embraced by some New York legends who innovated, and I got on that record and did my thing. People were like, yo, you business, the business.
Check on the
What's up, brother?
Thank you, Pete. Yes, sir. Yeah.
What's up, bro? Big bro. What's your name again?
I'm not sick of each other yet.
We been
So much press run.
Yo, we been on the word. Hey, yo.
Niggas just like, we love your rollout plan.
That album drop has been go,
bro.
I'm happy though.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. I mean,
Talk your shit, Pete. Talk your shit, baby.
I'm happy, bro.
I finally get a P Rock interview. I ain't never had a P Rock interview. Never, ever.
Let's go, bro.
I'm gonna give you my fanboy. I'm starting my fanboy shit. I'm gonna tell you what happened. You taught me about the white label, because I was in Rock and Soul Records, 1992. I had a mission to get 2 records, because it was the hot records, and like I got to get my hands on. I want everything. It was They Reminisce Over You, P Rock CL Smooth, Faking the Funk remix. So I go to the thing. I go to Rock and Soul, kid seeing Smooth. I'm going through the records. I see the thing. I'm trying to buy the shit. They won't sell it to me. I'm like, why can't I get it? Or it's a promo. Or it's a white label. What the fuck is a promo? What the fuck is a white label? I'll give you $20. I'll give you $30.
So
like I need this record.
And they wouldn't sell it to you?
It wouldn't sell to me. They're holding it for either Clark Kent or Capri. I forget. They're holding it for a DJ. It wouldn't sell to me. And I didn't know what it meant to be a white label and promo and none of that shit. Yeah. So then the kid seeing told me, yo, you gotta go to the labels. The labels got the records and you know, I was collecting the records.
They give us boxes of that shit.
Yes, exactly. So I was like, and I did the thing. I lied and I said I was a college DJ at my college. My college had no frequency of a fucking LaGuardia Community College in Queens. And I used to lie, and I went up to the thing. I went up to Electra, and I met a brother, Fred Jackson.
Yeah,
Fred Jackson. He gave me a book, and it had everybody else label reps in the thing. It had like
Mike Jones,
Muhammad Ali type niggas, relativity. Eric Skinner, like all these guys, like Troy Marshall, I think it's like.
Troy.
So I was like, these guys got records. Like, so I would just go to labels every day and just try to get records and allow as a DJ. And then when you do media, they give you the advanced cassette. Y'all would turn the albums in. Yeah. So then I would be dubbing the cassettes and give, because the DJs didn't have that. DJs had the vinyl. And then the media had the cassette, so I would dub copies of the album. I'd be bootlegging your album to get more vinyl. And I'd be sending to that one.
What good music does. It really does.
I needed 6 copies of Stunts Bustin' Hip Hop instrumental album.
We need to straighten
So
it
Pete
out.
Davidson. Straighten it out.
We will though. We will.
You can sit up talking about it. So
Give us time.
remember
No,
this.
it's all good. It's all good.
How the fuck you I mean, look, it's broken hearts. Like you know, you lost a brother. We lost Troy. But out of that, talk about preserving and celebrating his life. Like,
Oh man.
did you feel like you was making something that felt like
Yes.
eternal?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I got emotional as I was making it. Like I was crying tears because
Yeah.
not only was I depressed that we lost a homie I grew up with from small.
Yeah.
And so with that, came this amazing record. And I believe God was in the room when I made this because it was very sentimental.
Yeah.
And then when we finished mixing the song in the studio, the dudes in there, everyone in there was crying. Like everyone's like, damn Pete, damn Pete, damn Pete. Including me. So I'm out the room and I'm just, I can't take
But
it.
do you think the creative process just got to that? Did you plan on making something that was gonna
really fucking
make
with
you
my
cry?
soul.
Or like,
It was really fucking with my soul. Everyone in there.
Yeah.
And it was hard to listen to at first. Then you're like, oh shit, I got something.
Yeah, man. You got a record that hits you like that, to give you the emotion that can make men cry,
Walk
bro.
out the room. Charlie Brown from Leaders in the New School was in there.
He was in there.
Wow. In that session?
Yeah. Crying with us, everybody.
But when you said y'all went out to the car and listened to it that early in the morning, Jamie said y'all heard the mix.
It was snowing. Snow. I'll never forget it. And me and C.O. was like, yo, we finished. Shit is finished. I can't believe it. Wait till people hear these beats. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we was just like listening in the car all night till like 6, 7 in the morning. Just kept repeating the album, Yeah. Yo, I was like, yo, this shit is new. There's some other shit. Because it was 90s shit at that point, so it was new then.
Yeah.
So we were saying, yo, this new style is crazy.
But that's how I felt when I heard the Creator.
Yeah,
The Creator had the energy. Like,
I remember Wendy Williams played that shit on the radio for the first time, and she was like, "Ooh, I like this." Ooh. I remember. And she was going on. She was like,
and she didn't like everything.
I like this.
Gonna say what you know, like,
But when did you know you wanted to pop out and rap also?
It wasn't really a choice. It was just something that someone suggested I do. Grand Poobah.
Yeah.
So
he was writing a lot of that stuff for you early on, right?
Probably,
Yeah. He just knew you had a voice that could deliver.
Yeah, he felt that way. Me, I'm my own worst enemy when it comes to my voice and rapping.
Yeah.
So I'm like, damn, I just want to tone it up and straight, like, fix it.
That's why I love an album. It's like, outside we listening through, it's a great album already. It's just like, all kind of, like, Pete finally raps.
Yeah, man.
Like, how did we get to that moment? Did you have to bug him to do that?
He could tell you that.
So
He could tell you.
man, I always love Pete Rock.
When he raps.
Man, when he raps, man, like them verses, like Shut 'Em Down remix. It could be like 12 bars, and you're just like,
It's
you
that
know,
it's that final stamp.
It's that stamp, man, and it's like something about the way the soul that he brings to the beats, man. That just like, I don't know, it's just special. So I was like, when we was working, we was kind of getting into the last part of the album, and my manager Kevin was like, man, you think we gonna get a Pete Rock verse? I was like, I don't know, man. I said, I don't know, man. Trying to get us to finish these things. Man. But I was super hoping that we could get one, and then I was like, man, we was sitting around and we was doing something. We was working on one of the songs, and I was like, man, I said, this is a good time. Just go ask him, yo, Pete, well, man, you do a verse on one of the joints?
Yeah.
He's like, hell yeah, I got it. So he came with that all kind of ideas beat and was like, I knew that's the one he wanted.
Which is a straight Latin record, straight Latin sample.
Yeah, I was just Cause I've been going through some of the stuff you had sent me before today. That's why I sent you that record that you sent me.
That joint is hard.
Yo,
too.
that joint.
Y'all still cooking up?
Yeah, bro, yeah. Yo, but I was just listening. I had all kind of ideas, like a version of it that, like when he was first messing with it and stuff. Man, I love it. It's just you can hear how good and just soulful that joint. You said that's a Latin.
Latin joint, straight Latin joint. People wouldn't even hear it.
Yeah.
If they listened to the Latin song. Yeah. I would, but then they would get a clue when they hear something familiar.
Yeah. I was bugging on. Man, I saw this video where he sampled Fortunate, the song Fortunate, where he did Brazilian.
Yeah. The way you chopped it.
That one part, man, I was like, damn, how you, like, and they was, them dudes, whoever put that video, they was like, man, the fact that he even had the patience to wait for the, like, cause you can put on a certain record and you
like,
can hear it already. Yeah, you be like, let me skip this, man. And it's just this one part that just hit. But that's, to me, that's part of the spirit of like just being Pete Rock. It's like he gonna sit there and listen to them records and find that part. That's what Reminisce. Yeah. Reminisce is that part, man.
Okay, Reminisce is when I heard Black Sheep use it first. They used just the beginning part of the record, just the they used that. And then when I found the record and played the whole thing, I started listening to the sample, and then I just started getting emotional. I started getting emotional, and I started hearing these sounds and the bass line I heard, and then the way it dropped, and where I was gonna chop it at, and then that sax.
So emotions is a common theme, I guess. It's like you have to feel this sort of connection, like even, and I guess even the journey of it, like you kept digging, you collected, like a lot of things are digital now, but it seemed like you still got that same passion to approach it a certain way. And not only
that album when I got that sample from has way more on there, like a lot more, and so that's what interests the whole album to me was interesting. It even has a drum break on there, all kind of stuff.
There's something you're saying about emotions, because I feel like Pete chooses his music from the soul. Like it gotta hit you, and it gotta hit you in the soul. And really, essentially, that's the type of music I gravitate to. You know, shit. If I could, I would be Marvin Gaye. You know, like you know what I'm saying? Like that's what. Like, I want to hit that spotlight. So with my rhymes and stuff, like you gonna hear me picking beats that got that soul, like that. But the beauty of what Pete and I just created on this, and hopefully will continue to create, is just it's got the, God willing, it got the soul, but it's got the boom bap, like that just
the perfect boom bap.
The boom bap that feels fresh and new, but it's like got that essence where it's still like some hard joints. Like I hadn't rhymed on no beats like all kind of ideas before. You know what I'm saying? I hadn't rhymed on anything like that or Fortunate. And that, after 30 years of rhyming, to have something that feels fresh to me, but it's the essence of what I love about this music, which is the soul and like just being able, like feeling like the basement to me. That's what I was like. Oh man, I could just fly in this.
Feeling the potential of the music that we find. When I go digging, I just be like, damn man, like my ear's kind of ill because I just heard this part. And then I took it right from the right part. I looped it in the right place when I did Fortunate. And I looped it. And I was like, oh shit, there go the bass line. Boom, 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 boom. That's the loop. And then his singing was going. Then I heard all this piano and whatever it is back there. Sound like a dude is on a vocoder or two in there. So when I took his lyrics out, when I took the samples lyrics out, I got the beat.
But yo, and I see that Elliott was like
watch him really cook up. It's gotta be insane, right? Because is that a process you kind of always do alone, or you doing it in front of an artist, or is it any different?
I used to do it in front of people back in the day. I used to have people at my crib when I was younger, just watching me make beats, and I used to put on a show. Because I had speed.
You want to hear some horns? I'm the horn man. I got it.
You know what I'm saying? I had a little bit more speed at that time. These days, I'm being very careful with my selection of samples and stuff like that. I think that counts.
Yeah.
You got to clear things now,
You know,
properly.
it makes him. When I see something like him up, that's when I know I'm on the right track.
Yeah. So I didn't like. He would play me records, send me records, and I'd be like, yo, that. Or sometimes he would just send the beat like already done. So I never was like right there. I was there watching him like play certain stuff. Or
Yeah.
But he go into his zone. Just like I ain't gonna front. I like being in my own space.
Get
when
your
I'm writing,
pen down.
when I'm writing, like, I like
I
being
need to
in my
disconnect,
own, like,
kinda,
like,
yeah, right.
I just need to be. It's
Like right now, I
it's
feel like going home to make beats right after this interview.
Wow.
You know, because we've been going.
Yeah.
So we got a little breaks on.
But people love it. Like, so why is it so? Like, you think it's because you guys are so proud of this? Like, we see you out here working this record in like the way that the fans are connected to. Like, the fans are connected to, right? Like, so do you think it's just the passion and how proud you guys are of this project that you out here really letting the world know?
He could tell you his version, and I'm gonna tell you my version.
Okay.
And you know, my thing is, I'm very proud of this album. I'm very proud that he was God sent to me. You know, because I've been exercising my craft for a long time.
Yeah.
So I knew once I had the right person, we could go. It can get explosive, and we can, like it is. And here we are, man. You know what I'm saying? Like this.
Do you think that was something you think that was something that we use in mind? If I could connect with the right lyricist or artist, like I want to create this great body of work, that was kind of already in your mind.
And I'm a spiritual person on the low, so his vibe was like, this has been my friend for a long time. Like,
Yeah, of course.
Early 90s. but to really get to know him, and work with him so close like we did, only makes it the brother thing official.
Yeah.
And that's easier. It's just so much easier to have something to work with like this. You know? And somebody.
Yeah, and we come, you know, like to connect as men now. Like we've
Grown
been through
men,
a lot as grown men.
Yeah.
And like this from my first, like me coming to his crib, our conversations was about life, and we wasn't holding back on nothing. It was like we almost needed just the brotherhood too, like along, like just the brotherhood of that and being in
somebody understands.
Yeah, so, and then in his music is just extension. And like he said, this guy said, I feel the same way. Like, yo, this is God coming through us because, like, I'm really ready to rhyme. I want to MC.
Before you came in,
the same passion I have with the beats and the music. I love good music. I love good rappers.
You get motivated by other great music to make more great music.
Yes,
You looking for great music to make you make more great music.
He inspires me.
Yeah.
I think also I was saying before you got here, like I love competitive Common. I feel like Common's had a career where he makes records, but he could deviate out to space and just make some art thing that's cool. But this, you know, we love hip hop.
Yeah, bro.
And I feel like you've lit a certain fire in him to like get back to that. Did you feel that?
I think so.
Yeah,
Because he says it.
Yeah, he definitely did.
Like, you know what? This is great. This is great stuff. To that my music can do this to someone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, was there a moment like a session or something that happened that you guys really was locked in, like, oh, this really is a real thing, or like we're clear on the direction of this and we're gonna bring this to the world?
I think for me it probably started coming in the middle of the album, in the middle of the project, like, cause one of the first joints we did, I was like, oh man, I'm geeked up. And then like I was rhyming like boom, and then you know I go through my process. Sometimes the song will die down with me, and that song was still good, but we didn't end up putting it on the album. Yeah. But Pete loved it. He was like, we need this, and I'm like, okay. But we started evolving, and then like There Is a God is a God There Is, the one with Jennifer Hudson is the first song that I know that we did like that we kept on the album.
Yeah.
And then I remember us just starting to climb, and I was like, man, this stuff just starting to feel like easy and just like it's in sync. And as we started to get into more songs, I just was listening. I know Pete probably was like, man, you always like listening to Tribal playing, but I was listening to stuff that I consider just the stellar album.
Oh wow! Okay.
Like just like what albums in the history of time is stellar to me. Like it's on the highest level, classic.
So you saying we're gonna have the Law and Theory Men Marauders debate?
I mean, why not? I love the fact because we were all so on a cloud in the 90s. We all were making great music. back then.
Yeah.
And I mean, we make some changes in these rules in hip hop, man. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
James Brown always said he defied the rules. He didn't listen to or did anything that the classical guys like Beethoven and Pavarotti and all them dudes did. He defied the rules.
Yeah.
And look what he's become.
Yeah. And that's what hip hop has been for sure.
Exactly.
But that spark did get to me where I was like, man, I can MC over these beats and stay in my bars and stay in concepts too. Like I like writing concepts and stay conceptual. And then we still making, because we both grown not only as men but as artists, as producers. Like we know how to make songs. Like
structure.
It's like.
Well, I think it's great because obviously, you know, with P, he's gonna find something obscure and you never heard. But then you're doing Aretha Franklin, daydreaming, but be in a creative way, right? The challenge of that.
And he brought me that idea because my mama used to love that song.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
of course.
just like that.
Can I even touch that, right?
I was only worried about the sample clearance because that's Aretha Franklin. So,
Yeah.
But when I worked on it, and he was like, "Yo, Pete, you think this will work in the beat?" Because I already gave him the beat, and then he came with that idea, and he was like, "Yo, you think it could work?" He said, I said, "I'm gonna make it work." You know what I'm saying? And then when I sent it back to him, everything was in key because the original, when you just playing it on regular turntable, it's a certain speed. But my beat, the Aretha thing was out of key, so I just sampled it and put it in key.
Yeah, and it worked, man. It kind of got, to me, like that song is, I think when you say when did it feel like that we hit a stride with the album, when I heard that song come together, I was like, because that song, like, it's a hip hop song still because of the concept and what I'm referencing. And
So it's hip hop. You're thinking of other artists.
It's
the lineage of the whole thing.
And the wordplay, but then it just feel good, like, and it's got one of them hooks that's like, really, it's Aretha Franklin's hook. So it's like, so it's like it's got a certain
whatever comes to mind comes to mind. It just, you accept the idea, and if it's great, it comes out great.
But that's one of the things, Elliott, that I super was happy with about working with P too. Is like he stayed free with the creativity. Like some of the hooks that we have and scratches that, man, that's in the moment stuff. And he just like, but I'm like, damn, for some reason that shit sound good. And usually sometimes I can overthink shit.
Yeah.
So
Scratch wise, this guy knows his.
No, he gave you the fake and the funk too, the exotic. Saying it too. That's why I thought it together too. Like my worlds are colliding.
Oh man, to pick that one out, I was just like, oh, he's deep.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, even I let him going from Queens. I love the MC Shan. Who's gonna use MC Shan like in a vocal hook?
And it was the last record on the album, like the very last joint. Like the album was done, and I was just in the studio.
Oh, that's one of the last ones.
Yeah. And I was just playing it. I said, "What you think about this?" And I played the bridge, but my favorite part in the middle of the record. And so when he heard that, he was like, "Yo, hook it up, Pete."
Yeah,
that's his shit. Like, hook it up.
Hook it up, Pete.
I thought it was gonna be a bonus because I was like, Pete, we got the structure of the album, blah blah blah. Pete got to that master. He was like, this is going on the album. And I'm so glad he did, man.
Yeah, man.
But that's what some of the stuff we need, and I think the one thing we developed for sure is a trust. Like he said, not only did we get to know each other more, but it's like a trust where it's like, okay, you're right, man, because he was like, we need one of these street like joints.
Harder joints.
Harder joints.
B-side kind of feel.
Like, exactly. That's exactly what it is. That felt like a white label joint.
If you're going to create an album, just give people at least one street joint. Just one grimy joint.
And you need to, and the dope part is it felt like, you know, like when we came out with that first, and he kept saying that, I felt this should be first. At one point, we went around the way, but we got back to that being first. It just reminded me of them old rollouts where you would put your street joint first. And then you come with the record.
Then you give them the radio joint. Then you get the radio joint.
Build the right anticipation.
For sure. Yeah, shit.
It's interesting. I remember I saw you guys at the Enchantress thing in Cali.
Oh, you was out there.
And they played the whole album. That's the first time I heard the album. I was like, oh, she played the album. But I want to talk about, you did have a funny part there about, you know, it's all love and you guys love each other, but you're both creative. So there's times where you can have artistic differences or challenges. Like, can you speak to those moments where you kind of like pushed each other, decision-wise and things?
Like, because
we know how stubborn Pete is, you know what I'm saying? That's what I heard.
It ain't about. I don't mean to be stubborn. I just do things accordingly to how I think. And that's all.
I'm not wrong when I'm always right.
I've learned something from the King of Soul, James Brown, and where the one is at.
Yes, sir. The one is the one.
We had a little tug of war with where the one was at.
Where the one battle.
I had to show him like, yo, man.
Which joint was that again?
It was a guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was like, because I was hearing that, I was hearing, and I thought the one was at this one place in the sample.
Yeah.
And so I started writing from there, like, landed from the heavens on the seventh. So boom, I'm like, landed from the heavens. And then Pete was like, man, it was after a while. He took a little minute for it. I'm going to let him know this a little bit. Because I listened to this and I heard it. He said, listen, man, I got to tell you, you're not rhyming in the right place on that beat. And I was like, man, this the one right here. He was like, bro. He said, I come from the school of James Brown. I know where the one is. I know where
it's the one hot record, but you gotta rap in the right place.
Yeah. and he had some real I really understood what he was saying about the song too, because he's like certain songs you just MCing like where the beat is just raw. You can come in at an awkward place in it, and it still can come off.
Yeah.
But this was like
this is an important song.
Important song. It had 16 bars, and we had we knew the song structure. So after a while, because at first I was like, man, yo, Pete, come on, man, this is come on. Yep. And then he he ain't stubborn, but
it took a couple of days.
He's stubborn. What do you think? So it was like. And then eventually I understood, and I said, "Yo, let me ease back a little bit, because this brother made the beat. He know where he started the sample.
Where he is. Yeah.
And then I was like, man, I got to figure out how it's gonna sound right to me. But I just had to live with it, and then and we
I'm gonna cut it over and do it your way.
Yeah, we do it.
Yeah, it's a great song.
Yeah.
Even when he rapped in the wrong place, I was like, the lyrics is fucking awesome, but just gotta place it.
Yeah, place it in the right place. But we performed it just in Chicago, like for the first time with the symphony, the Grand Park Orchestra. I still was hearing the one in the other place. I was just kidding.
What was the other discrepancy? Was it the album title or something?
Yeah.
The album title.
Remember the conversation?
Yeah. Album time. But
But it made more sense to me. The more I thought about it, I was like, you know what? The way the music sounds, the way he sounds,
the Auditorium,
the reinvention of myself, it makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, because to me, I ain't gonna front, like a lot of titles I choose first, I just be like, if something come to mind that I like the way it sounds, then I'm
what if it's
like what?
Right.
Like, where does that fit?
It just sounds fly.
It sounds dope, man. You know, so
artsy.
Yeah, it's artsy. So I think Pete might have felt like the Auditorium initially. I don't know. It just initially he was with it, and then like 3 or 4 months into the album, after he had said the Auditorium,
I said it on the record too.
He called me one day.
What the feel will be like.
He called me one day like, "Yo, man, that Auditorium don't fit us, man.
Don't fit us."
I'm like, bro,
I was thinking of other titles. Other titles.
What'd you have, Pete? What was your favorite?
I mean,
you don't want to say?
Maybe he might want to rock with this one that I'm getting ready to say, but I don't want to say it because I don't want to give it away. People will steal that shit.
No, that's true. That's true.
But you know what I noticed though? It was like part of the process, and this is the most collaborative. Like I operated as like a group, and to be honest, because even with like a strong, like Ye is real adamant about like what goes in da. But ultimately I had the final decision on these things. But because this is a Common and Pete Rock project, we gotta both agree.
This feels different because people look at Common's career. He's blessed to work with some of the most amazing producers, giving them full bodies of work. But just saying, this actually comes into you guys have really formed a rap group,
like,
in a sense.
I mean, basically, it's a like the way you might Coltrane or Davis, Miles Davis might have did an album together or something. It's a joint album, like it's like that. Right. So it's like, okay, I mean he it ain't like I was like sitting there there telling him like this is what you should do with the beat or nothing like that. He just he wasn't like, yo, you should rap this way. He was like he wasn't, but he did. Yeah. It was a collaborative in a way, like, man, I like that, P, hook that up. And he was like, yo, maybe you should tone that style down just a little bit, take it back just a little bit, or like when he said with the one. So that was the creative collaboration, but it also had to be, with the album cover, the album title. We got, because his name is on it. Like, it's like he got to represent him too. Yeah. And I
that's just my stubborn work tactics. It ain't about my name, man. I am stubborn in the studio.
Yeah.
I mean, but we didn't have many. Yeah. We just had those two things.
The chemistry was there.
Yeah, but it's, I mean, in any good
artists got to shout at each other.
It's gonna have some, but the respect we got for one another and just the love we got, and we know what the purpose is higher, and the love we got for the music. It wasn't no like take it personal thing. We just both was adamant about this music.
Yeah,
like, yo,
we're gonna get to the truth.
Yeah, we're gonna get to the mud. Yeah, exactly. We're gonna get to the truth. Yeah.
So Grammy nomination, we ready? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, shoot, I'm praying. We praying. I could do is speak it into existence,
yeah,
man.
Praying, man.
We worked. To be honest, like we think this is a great album.
Yeah.
Because I felt like this is like music is medicine. You know what I'm saying? It's healing. You know what I mean? And since I aim for the soul, like he says, when I'm making beats, it's like that's what I'm trying to heal.
Yeah. So I mean, God willing, we hope that we get that type of recognition. But it's just it feels really good that people are like coming saying, yo, this album means something. This album is great for the art form. For the
play the shit all the way through.
Don't skip.
You gotta make your own playlist version of the album.
That shit is
Pick
great.
your poison.
Yeah. And even I got friends who's like, man.
I was gonna say, did you get feedback from people like really?
My homies be like,
he told me about it.
My homies has been like, yo, this is the best album you did, or this in your top 3 album, or how y'all make a classic during this time. P Rock is incredible. They just and they like the streets is rocking with you. Like I was just at home and my barber at the crib was like, yo, and I heard the music when I went to the gym. My first customer was like, yo, you gotta get this comment out. He's like, well, of course I got the comment of P-Rock. Niggas rocking.
No, but I'm seeing like random posts. I see like old women cutting watermelon and doing little things in the kitchen, playing the album in the background. Like I heard this man's dude in the gym was lifting. Man, this is crazy. It just can't be real.
Yeah, we ain't gonna front. Like, listen, we both have experienced like success in our lives. Yeah. We both have experienced the ups and downs.
The highs and lows.
This game. And the truth of the matter is, this music has reinvented both of us in the music space. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Like where it's like, it's people, younger people, like what I was saying about some of my homies, like, man, my son, his homies rocking with they like it. And I'm not saying we reach every young person, but it's hitting some of the young people that are into just music, and they discovering new stuff, and it's dope to even have somebody that's my age and his son listening to the same album. That feel good to me. Yeah.
Big time. I like to hear like younger cats, say stuff about what the older guys are doing.
Yeah.
And like feeling it, and so that's really what I'm aiming to do here. Is like my goal is to like put the food on the table and try this dish. You know what I'm saying? And then, with my style and just the aura of the 90s, but not the actual sound, because I rebuilt that and mixing it in with the youngers.
Yeah, I was talking before you got here too, like, about the longevity, where it's like we used to feel like hip hop, you get older, these MCs fall off, you can't still be hot. But now it feels like we've knocked those barriers down.
We're trying.
I feel like we really starting to see it. We didn't know, and Hip Hop 50th has helped.
Yes, it did. That helped a lot.
You said that inspired y'all, right?
That's
part of how the
came together. This man been cooking for a minute, as you say. I can veer off and do all that, do other stuff, but he been cooking and staying true to the art form, and even exploration and with bands and stuff. He's been staying true to the music. I stay true to the music in my own way, of course, as an actor and doing the things that I do. But as far as
grab a couple of awards,
but getting back, but like the 50th, why I'm saying, Peter and I had already been talking before like the 50th anniversary about doing something, and he was starting to send beats. But I think at that time I was out in London. Then I got back here, and I was doing all the 50th celebration stuff, and I was like, man, I mean, I was on part of the LL Force tour with the Roots and all that, and I was watching these stadiums go crazy for like just hip hop that they love. And then I sat in that Yankee Stadium and watched.
That was a great show. I was there. That was a great show.
Man. Like, that's very inspiring.
Man, I couldn't help but be like, man, this thing is still alive, man. I can see the joy.
They brought like Run DMC out like 2 in the morning. Everybody was still there.
2 in the morning,
We was still there.
Bro, it was amazing.
Standing.
Standing,
We've been standing since like 7.
Bro, I had never stood at a concert for 5.5 hours just watching. And I enjoyed every, like, I'm talking about
you performed and went back in the crowd?
When the crowd. From Lil Kim to Havoc and, representing Mobb Deep.
I got Havoc coming here tomorrow.
That's my guy right there.
Yeah, big
I
Hav.
love him, bro. Listen to them, boy.
Get him out of, he's in Connecticut. Get him out of Connecticut.
That's a whole new world over there.
Connecticut, huh?
That's where we flew back to come home today.
For real.
Yeah, from Chicago.
Oh, the travel shit is all
New
fucked
York
up,
is
right?
all twisted. My flight got canceled.
Yeah, no, they said it's crazy. I got here early, so I was happy. Cause Chris hit me, he was like, "Yo, you messed up with the travel?"
Yes.
Cause it was messed up.
Man, we made it. Man, they canceled some planes out.
They did?
Yeah, coming today. Well, our plane made it. We left at 7 this morning for Chicago.
Yeah, we was out. We was out.
Thank you for taking the time, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate y'all, man.
Thank you, man, bro. Yeah, we grateful, bro.
Keep rock,
Forward
baby.
to doing this. I'm like, why he don't talk to me? I see you talking to all the other rappers. And producers. I'm like,
Oh, I got a good one. Not to go too much into it, but I think it's funny.
Is Elliott Mike? Is Mike?
Was off?
Yeah,
My bad.
I got it back up.
Okay.
I'm good.
Yeah, you good. I got it back up.
Okay.
I think it's interesting when like with the Kendrick shit, like he got an Alchemist beat. Yeah. You don't even know he's gonna take that beat, and now he's part of this rap beef thing. So when you cooking up doing bitch, and are you thinking, oh, I'm about to really be in this conflict with Ice Cube? Or you just like, fuck it, I'm gonna make records with Calm.
Yeah.
He want to get his shit off. I'm just making a great track.
I said, whatever happens.
I'm Switzerland.
Happens.
Yeah.
And I could take a lick or two.
Yo, when he rolled out, I ain't gonna front. That's like he rolled out with me because it wasn't a lot of people that would do that at that time.
Yeah, that's interesting too. Forget that.
No.
And you spoke earlier like about your respect for Cube, and I think that's what I kind of think. Why the record's great to me is because you could tell how disappointed you are and mad that someone you idolize or respect came at you and took this shit, flipped on it. Yeah, and then you hear that in the bars, like you hear like it feels personal, like.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like. I was like, man, Cube, you one of my favorites. I love Cube. And America's Most Wanted with yo. So
favorite Ice Cube.
Yo, so I was like, yo, I was like, damn, you dissing me? Like, I'm like, okay, you know who I am.
You know who I am. That's important.
But then it was like, man, you dissing me, and then. I really was making a decision on if I was gonna diss them, but then they kept talking. That's when I started getting a little.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Battery pack.
They were doing press and shit.
I ain't just know.
Diss you in the magazine.
Man, I ain't know this.
That should stay on the newsstands for 30 days.
It was in the song, though. In the song. He was getting at you, right?
Yeah, he got the song, and then they was doing interviews. I remember watching it. But man, it's dope because shit. 20 years later, I'm sitting there on his movie set in his movie, and we was about to actually have a real conversation about how stuff. And he got a phone call. And he just walked off, and I was like, I guess this ain't we don't need to talk about that, bro. We've been at peace anyway.
Like, so what you say?
But it was funny that the phone call came right at that time. But yeah, that was Pete blessed me with that, and man,
I didn't even make that at my house.
Pete, what are some of your favorite productions?
Of my own?
Your own. Like you have a top 3 or top 5?
I'm gonna say Reminiscence. I'm gonna say now I have a new choice. This new album that we just did.
Yeah.
So it's Reminisce, this album with us, and then
It was yours.
It's yours, yes. Yes.
Who made it #1 Billboard or somebody? Like, who did the show? Somebody had crowned it the best.
Down with the King also.
Down with the King. That meant a lot for us, man. You brought our guys back, man. Run DMC, I'm from Queens.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Did you know that was like how did that come together? That you was gonna work with them?
I was doing remixes for Def Jam. It happened when I started working with Def Jam.
Yeah.
Doing the Shut 'Em Down remix and a couple other things. And, I did 2 Public Enemy remixes.
Yeah.
And then I just.
But what's the other one? Outside Shut. What's the other one besides Shut 'Em Down?
Well, Jump Around wasn't on. They were on Tommy Boy.
Oh, House Pain, yeah.
But I can't even remember actually. I know I did more than just Public Enemy for Def Jam, but yeah, Slick Rick, a couple other people.
Well, what's your favorite Pete Rock beats? You got 2.
Shut 'Em Down might be one up there.
Shut 'Em Down.
Shut 'Em Down was like.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll say that too.
Yeah.
Shut 'Em Down is definitely in my.
I mean, I love Down with the King too. Like it was like that's like we needed. Then
I'm
we had
very proud of it because me and Jam Master Jay worked so close together.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how did they embrace kind of? You was a new wave at the time. Like, what was that chemistry?
I didn't
like?
think the song was gonna happen because I'm young. I'm just like, I've heard comments Russell made, and I was just like, it's rough in this game, man. You gotta just have tough skin.
Yeah.
And I think as a youngin, I was really more keyed into the music, so I didn't think about the comment. I just said, how could we make this better? And Jay showed up at my house, and he was like, let's go next door to the basement. So we went to the basement and started working on the song.
Yeah.
And then one other thing is that, he was telling me the drum pattern he wanted.
Wow. So
And
you had
I
a vision
turned
of
on-
it.
Yeah, I turned on the SP and said, yo, you do it.
Oh, so
And
you did
I
the
set it
drum?
up. Yeah, I set up the record. I was like, boom, boom, and then I told him when to go, and he started doing the beat.
That's Jay tapping it. Wow.
And I just built on the beat.
I can't top that. I didn't even know that. That's
It's really produced by both of us. You know what
Wow.
I'm saying? But he did the drumming, and I just did everything else.
So, Peter, you want to bless anybody else with a production right now? Or you just in this
I
rap
like
group?
to work. I always say I work with people who want to work with me, and that's keeping it simple like that. Man.
Yeah.
I think that's, I hope, I can't speak for people, but I definitely feel like it's going to be a slew of artists that want to work with people.
Yeah. And you support that. You support that. You approve that message.
Rock, man. I have a list.
I approve that message.
I love that people.
You can't share the list, right? The list is
I can
secret?
share the list.
Okay.
Kendrick, I already did. I'm on Pimp a Butterfly, but just more deep into him.
Really cooking up with Kendrick, yeah.
Pause. J. Cole, Earl Sweatshirt.
Okay, Earl.
Who else? I never worked with Weezy. I like, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
I want to catch the guys that's been out here doing it. Like,
Yeah.
I like Fab. I like a lot of people. You know what I'm saying?
What do you think it's been? You just don't pursue it as much?
I felt like as I'm working on my reinvention, like I just cut off from everyone because I'm working on myself.
So you consider it a reinvention to all levels?
I felt like I had to do that for me in order to present myself in the proper manner with these youngins. Because I have a different sound now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a great sound, man.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you so
taking
much.
the time.
Yes, sir. Respect to you,
Yes,
man.
sir.
Respect, bro.
Yeah.
Finally, a Pete Rock interview, baby. You can't tell me nothing.
Yes.
So, brother number one.
That's what I'm saying.
And my former neighbor, you know what I mean?
King in the house.
We here.
Yeah, it's right there.
That's it.
We right here on Wife.
I love that. I love that. How you did the interview. We just chilling like that. That's impressive. That's impressive. That's
Y'all standing the whole time. I was like,
Oh, really?
you gonna sit down? Yeah, no, we made it
I
happen.
remember your face, but I think I remember.
From De La Soul to tell them about De La Soul story, CMJ.
Oh, man. Shit, we got
I made my man look big. I did little stakes is high cover.
Yeah, we
Remember
got
CMJ? The
CMJ.
niggas paid me $18,500 a year. I had to go to Long Island. That shit was $850 each way. That was like my first job.
We got
Me and Sasha Jenkins sitting around. Somebody gotta get a job to do some shit.
him putting Dayla on the cover of CMJ at that
They wasn't
That was like being on
hip hop.
Rolling Stone.
You gotta love it, bro.
Because they were not loving hip hop like that, right? It was doing all the
big.
white rock acts.
So he's still doing stuff. So he's still doing stuff.
96.
Plus he left
That's
Master.
me and Chris Bond did this shit.
That's what I met Chris.
That was the album. I'm still tight. I missed it this weekend.
That was shit there, bro. That was like,
I seen that when he FaceTime me. I was like,
yo,
You still my brother.
I heard it was crazy.
Yo, it was crazy, bro. We had the
That's what it
symphony.
is. That's what it is.
But then
Rent got
Miles
rent.
came out. We did the when the sun shot. And then Bilal was killing it. Then Jennifer came out and did a God There Is, and we did Glory.
Bro.
It was like
I had serious FOMO. I had FOMO.
it was dope.
Remember when you did the freestyle and said my name and I stood up?
Oh yeah.
People didn't even know I was dead. Yo, the crowd went crazy.
The crowd went
I said
crazy.
P-Rock, they went crazy. It's like 15,000 people out
You was freestyling to Homegirl.
Well, we got to do one last thing. We'll talk about Paz being on the album.
Oh yeah,
I want to talk about the story behind that.
Oh.
Can we knock that out real quick?
Okay.
That made me think of that.
When the sun shines again.
He's the only guest, right? Really?
Paz, Jennifer.
Oh man,
Yeah,
rap.
rap.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
he only rap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's the
Yeah.
winner.
So
I know he had the beat. He had the beat before this real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is the only rapper.
Yeah. And this, I mean, I told, I'll tell you.
Yeah, real
Yeah,
quick.
you gotta tell them a story about that song.
I just want to talk about how Paz got in the record real quick. He made me think of this shit.
When the
See,
sun.
it was too casual.
I'll sit for this one. You want to sit for this one?
Whatever you
Yeah,
come
we
with.
sit, man. We sit.
No pressure.
We sit. I was hooping yesterday. My legs tired.
You was out there trying to do
I'm trying to hoop with these
it?
youngins, man. Shit.
Now they seen you ball on my Instagram, bro.
Oh, what?
I posted that dunk you did.
I dunked on a little small ass rail.
That was some bullshit. That was
Yeah, he was like 5'8".
Yeah.
2 points is 2 points.
it still look good though.
Yeah, it
bro.
look good, though.
You know what I mean?
2 points
Look
is 2
good.
points, right? It
It
works.
look good. When the sun. Oh, yeah. We all in the shot?
Yep.
I guess.
Shit, I'm about to go
would
get
have
the
said something.
Good in there.
It is, right?
Yeah, I like that.
Where?
Brooklyn Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Get something to go.
Mic check. Huh?
Peace, 1, 2.
1, 2.
Peace. Peace, Lord. Peace, Lord.
Yeah.
Let me
Peace
see
to
yours real
God.
quick. Just check the box. Okay, your box.
Boom, 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 boom.
Even though you got it in your pocket, it's still a pack up. These rolls some good.
Okay.
Yeah, I worked with West, Con, and Benny.
Yeah.
I got my blog on for you too.
You know what, Con?
man.
We'll talk about it, but I like West Side Gun for the next album on the hook.
Yeah, he
The
dope.
little MP3 you ain't have.
He fucking dope.
Yeah, go a hard street joint and get him on the hook.
Excuse me, partner.
I'm bad. What'd you say?
His voice is ill.
You good? I saw it on like it's good. Y'all good to go?
Okay, one last thing, man. We sitting though, okay? So
Old legs, bro.
Yeah, man.
old guy standing up too long. I want to talk about Paz being on the album, man. I love Paz and News. Like, how did that come together? That like he's the only MC, only fellow MC that's on the project.
Yeah.
Like, how did that come together?
Man, I feel like De La Soul, they was hovering around this album for me, like as an inspiration because, you know, when Dove died, True Boy to Dove, God bless his soul.
Yes, he
They,
was.
them brothers embraced me back in like '96 and put me on their album. The Stakes Is High, put me on the business, and that changed my life. To be honest, like
Wow.
it really, that was the first time I went to London, being accepted by De La Soul and being on a record that cats was rocking. Like that song was getting out there to business, and they took me everywhere. I was staying at Mace's crib, so this is my family. Right, these are my brothers. Like, and when Dave died, man, it just was tough.
Still tough.
It's tough. It is,
100%,
yeah,
100%.
and you know, I was listening to a lot of De La, and I was just thinking, man, these dudes are super dope.
Because it was now on streaming and all
Yeah,
that
it was on
stuff.
streaming.
too.
It just came out on streaming. In fact, I saw Pete at the celebration / memorial event for Dave, for Dove, and we talked like we was leaving out, and he was leaving with his wife and I. We said we're gonna do this music. We told each other that at that point. But that being said, fast forward, we working on the album. I told Pete I don't really want no other MCs on the album. Like,
I'm selfish. I want all the people I beat.
You know, I'm always, that's always the producer's thing to do, is ask who you fucking with anything.
Yeah.
And if he says what he says, that's what it goes. That's what goes.
Yeah. Cause I feel like, you know, Rakim and certain people, man, they just like, even Nas, he only had that one feature like on Illmatic, and just, but it's just like, I like when artists can just deliver like an album and it's them. They create that sound, you know. So I was planning on not, you know, doing having another artist, but Pete gave me this one beat. He sent this beat, and I was really loving it. And he was like, man, I gotta tell you, like this. I sent this beat, and De La, they potentially was gonna use this beat, you know, for their album that he and Premier was doing for them. But then Dave passed, so he's like, I don't know, you know,
if they still using the
still
record.
using it or not. But I just decided to write to it, and I came up with the When the Sun Shines Again hook to it. And I was like, man, this is a good song. I love it. You know, so I just was like, man, I'm writing. You know, so I got my verses.
That's funny.
Yeah, I'm like, you know, I got my verses, and then I'm like, okay, we near mastering. We kind of in the process of mastering. And then I'm like, Pete, we got to check with it. He's like, yeah, we got to check with Paz and see what's up.
Yeah.
He called Paz, or he reached out to Paz, and Paz was like, no, that's our beat, man. We, you know, like, he was like, man, that's our beat.
Yeah, Pete, he's like,
that's our beat, man.
You don't give me back.
And then Pete hit me with the, I'm gonna give you a new one, man. It's gonna be dope.
That's not what you want to hear, right?
Man,
I want no new one.
I want no new one. I got a song to this song. I wrote to it, like, you know.
Something told me though he was gonna snag that.
Yeah.
He was gonna want it for himself.
Yeah. So then, maybe about 10 minutes later, Pete texted me like, Paz just said you can have the beat.
Look at Paz.
And then,
my brother right
man, that brother. So then, I was like, Pete, nah, man, we gotta have him on there. I gotta get him. I'm gonna get him on this song. So I said, let me call him. I called Paz, and the first thing he said to me, he was like, Rosh, man, you can have the music, man. You can have the beat. He's like, first I was like thinking like, man, this is one of our songs, and I really like the music, the beat. And then he was like, man, I thought about it. I was like, if there's anybody out there that I would want to have that music and putting good music out there, it's you. So you can have it. And I was like, man, that kind of hit home for me. That he was willing to sacrifice that. And be like, and I was like, what? Well, listen, I'm calling you because I want to see if you want to get on the album and rhyme on this joint. He was like, hell yeah.
It's the right thing to do after all of that.
Yeah.
After what he just told you.
Yeah, and then so, man, the last part of the story is that he was like about to go on vacation. I'm like, Paz, we mastering on tour.
He could do the married life type thing.
Yeah, he got vacationing with his wife, his family.
He takes his family thing serious.
Yeah, he should.
Everyone should.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And he was like, man, he said I can go in. He said I'm gonna write this. He said I'm in New York. I'm gonna write this joint tonight, and then I'm gonna go lay it before I get to the airport. I gotta go to the airport at like 12. So I'm like, is he really gonna lay it? Like, he gotta go to the airport at 12 in the afternoon. Yeah. Man, he went that next morning at 10 o'clock in the morning. He wrote it that Thursday night. I remember Friday. I got that joint. He sent me the rhyme. I said, I heard that joint. I was like,
then you sent it to me.
I know. I said, yo, this dude he sounded so good on that joint. He sounds so good on it.
Perfect, man.
It's perfect, bro. And it's like, now hearing that song and performing it, we performed it on the Tonight Show. And it was just like, man, this was supposed to happen. Like,
and think about the connection of your feature on the De La and then the significance of this feature. With you many years later.
Man, and I could feel his enthusiasm, his joy. It's probably tough. Not probably. It is tough losing a partner in your group that's your brother.
Absolutely.
And just to have, you know, the energy and to feel some joy in the making of music. And I could feel it when he was performing with us. I was like, man, he's feeling it, man. So it's an honor that we got him. You know, we had to honor Dave with this music too.
Soon to be Grammy nominated, the Auditorium.
Let's go. out
I'm
there.
talking
Put it
about.
out.
Thank you.
Universe.
Yes.
Respect, man.
Thank you, people.